It's the early morning of September 4, 2011, and our reserved tour bus was waiting for us to board for the 4-hour walking tour and a visit to a few landmarks in Monte Carlo, Monaco.
Very easy, bonjour. I'm your guide for this excursion for this afternoon. Our driver is called Olivier.
Monaco is a small independent sovereign state located between the foot of the Southern Alps and the Mediterranean that borders several French villages. And for over 700 years now, the history of Monaco has been linked to that of the Grimaldi dynasty.
Prix of the Formula 1, and there is always happening something. And here we drive around the harbour. We just make a little curve, and then we go up to the old town, which is the most...
This day was a clear and a good day to visit, and while we were busy looking around, I noticed there was a marathon going on.
Then Monacoville, there are 5 different districts. It's really a very pretty country. That's why also the millionaires, milliardaires, the prominent people, they live here. I tell you some names of prominent people.
The streets look tidy and clean. From all the introductions and descriptions about the living amenities in Monte Carlo, I could live here and enjoy life. But unfortunately, financial conditions are not yet favorable to be a resident of Monaco.
Whatsoever, nothing to pay, no taxes for church or animals, no inheritance taxes when your children inherit your fortune. So that is a very good reason why so many people would like to live here, many companies.
Our first landmark stop was in front of a government building. We had the opportunity to learn a little history and some information about Monaco's government leadership.
He nominates the whole government, so he's very powerful. He's the boss really, or the head of the executive power, of the legislative power, and of the judicial power. So government is all these things. Usually the
Across the street, we passed the octopus statue in front of the Oceanographic Museum and Aquarium. It must be interesting to visit and walk around inside, but going in was not in our agenda.
Of Albert I, he was a scientific man. He made many campaigns on his ships all over the world, on all oceans, and he founded the Oceanographic Museum of Monaco. The whole building here, yeah? It's a very, very beautiful...
Instead, we got to know what the nearby buildings were for.
Until the high school, but not a university anymore. They go then to France to study if they want to study. So lycée, which is the high school. Then we go in this direction.
The streets appear to be well maintained as we walk along and past the residential buildings. We enjoyed the surrounding views and admired some of the building architectures of the old town until we stopped in front of what looked like a popular destination for the day. I saw people come in and out, and as a group, we religiously listened for what our guide had to say.
So this is his church, the cathedral, and here inside are all the important religious ceremonies. It's not a very old one. If you look at it, it looks quite new, yeah? And it has been rebuilt only 100 years ago. Before that was an older one.
Occasionally, there were brief interruptions by the passing of the little red and white trams and tour vehicles going around the principality. Some of us kept our cameras clicking away or concentrated on looking at other things local. While a few of us looked lost, we walked and headed to the St. Nicholas Cathedral, which had now become crowded with tourists consisting of young and old. The welcoming entrance smelled of burning candles. It's a very beautiful cathedral, and once inside, we followed the crowd to walk around and toward the back in a long circular line. This was the time to check on the tombs of the famous Monaco residents. Although clearly marked, but for lack of historical knowledge, most names inscribed on the tombs were unfamiliar to us. It was hard to tell who's who of the princes and princesses. We talked among ourselves, but we were mostly still not sure. Patiently, I moved along with the others and hoping to find names that would catch my attention. Across the other side, and facing the tombs were religious shrines and altars that seemingly provide heavenly security for the dearly departed ones. At the end of the line, someone waved to us to keep the line moving. Most people were taking their time to take pictures of someone they thought special and familiar. It was the tombs of Princess Grace Kelly and her Prince Rainier. They both got the most attention.
This now is the law court, just in front of us, this one here, and this one is the parliament.
Now outside the cathedral and before moving on to our next destination, our views were directed to more of government buildings in the nearby area. And then, as we entered the shopping area and following our tour guide, I sometimes felt like our group was being watched. There really was no time to stop and buy anything as we passed along the numerous shops. All we could do was look and smell the delicious food around us, or the thought of wanting to grab a cone of ice cream after all the walking we have been doing. Finally, we came to the entrance of the palace square, surrounded by historical buildings and the Princess Palace of Monaco. The palace is single-handedly guarded by a well-armed soldier. To the right of the palace is a statue of Francois Grimaldi, disguised as a Franciscan monk when he captured the Rock of Monaco in 1297. His cousin's descendants, the Grimaldi family, still rule Monaco today. As of 2012, Prince Albert II is the head of the House of Grimaldi.
Here is also a museum inside. There are many rooms you can go and visit, yeah? Then inside, when you go inside this gate, there is...
After the informative talks, we had the opportunity to walk down the one side of the square for some magnificent views of Monte Carlo and the Hercules harbor where our ship was docked and awaiting for our return. It was also now the time for photo ops, picture taking, and to enjoy the sceneries. On the other side and down below is another view of the boats neatly docked at the Fontville harbor, surrounded by residential buildings which are symbolically protected by a row of cannons on top of the hill. Soon, my attention also turned to watching the guard in front of the palace doing his routine back and forth walk, which looked like it was that time of the day for the changing of the guard. The rest of our free time, I watched people feed birds or observe other things around until we were gathered back for the continuation of our tour duty.
This is a very modern area. You see it's a little bit American style also, these big tall buildings, skyscrapers, yeah. It's a very different architecture than here. This is Middle Age and 19th century. This is very, very modern. And Monte Carlo is a very elegant and very, very beautiful place. We go there with the bus now. And then we are driving.
Feeling satisfied, we then walk back to meet our bus for the next destination.
For example, Shirley Bassey, the singer, she lives here in Monaco. Josephine Baker before...
Along the way, we rolled on the same road that the exciting Monaco Formula 1 Grand Prix yearly event actually takes place.
Now we are driving on the Formula 1 circuit. Here we have the start. Voila, just here it was the start line. On this road, exactly here.
But at this moment, a different Formula was walking alongside us, and the view was excellent.
Then you get a two-bedroom flat, not for 3,000. They have to take him first. That is the gambling casino. We stop here now. We go down.
More walking awaited us at our next stop, and also more historical information that we would try to remember.
Names, even though we speak French here usually. Monte means mountain, but well, it's a hill, yeah, it's not real mountain. Carlo means Charles, because it was the French Charles III, 1864, who had built the gambling casino and everything here. Before, on this hill was nothing. There were sheep and goats eating here the grass, and so it was an agricultural area. There was absolutely no building here until 1864, and then it was opened, the gambling casino. We just leave now in a second, yeah? We're going to cross the road there. That has been opened then, which is the most beautiful gambling casino in the world, they say. Very pretty, the architecture and so on.
And afraid to get lost, we all soon followed our tour guide to the famous Monte Carlo casino.
A beautiful epoch, yeah? I don't think you go inside to gamble because we don't have much time, but if you want to have a look, you just have to take away the camera to go in there. But if you want to see it from inside, you just go inside, you see the hall, you see some of the rooms. It's very, very pretty, but no photos and no filming, yeah? You put it in the bag, otherwise you have to give it to the, how do you say?
We walked inside the casino in the beautiful lobby area to take a look, but it was disappointing that no picture taking were allowed. We had to turn in our cameras at the entrance. It would also cost additional fee to see the gambling floor, but our time was short, and going in to spend some time was not a good idea. We were more than satisfied to burn plenty of time taking pictures outside and in front of the casino. This Monte Carlo Casino Square is full of tourists, and everyone seemed to take their time hanging out and relished every minute of it. I felt fortunate to being around here to experience this moment of life. Opposite the casino are the Monte Carlo Gardens, with their marvelous beds of flowers laid out on perfectly maintained lawns and accompanied by water fountains. A number of luxury stores and restaurants can be found in the streets around the casino, but shopping for souvenirs could take time and was mostly not an option during this tour. One last check by our guide if everyone was accounted for, and we were ready for the long walk back to meet our tour bus.
The last princess of Monaco, who is unforgotten, who is always...
Heading back afterwards, we caught up to enjoy more of the nice views of Monte Carlo, passing through the shopping centers and ending back at the port for our ship embarkation.